Hey, I'm Kevin, and what I'm going to talk about today is the topic of brain cancer. So, for those of you who don't know, had, or I have been, I had in 2022, I was diagnosed with brain cancer. The actual date of it was probably the end of 2021, um, sometime December 28, 29. I wrote like a whole blog post detailing how it was discovered. So, really quick, short story. Um, I had a seizure and I was taken to a hospital and I got my MRI or magnetic resonance imaging, and they found a lump in my brain, in on my left side of the brain, which means my right side was weak, or weaker than my left side comparatively, and that caused a seizure when the pressure from the tumor pressed on my motor neurons or something. And February 25, 2022, I had surgery to get the mass removed, and the surgery went really well. And within 3 days, I was back at home, discharged from the hospital, and I could, you know, walk around the house, not do, not like run or do any like physical exercises, but it didn't like, I wasn't bedridden or anything. Um, and then I was scheduled about 6 weeks after the surgery. I did 45 days of chemotherapy and con- concurrent radiation, but radiation was for 30 days. So, kind of 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for like 6 weeks. What's that? 5 times 6 is 30. So, yes, 6 weeks of radiation and no breaks for the chemo, so 45 days of chemotherapy. And honestly, I didn't feel too bad for those. I honestly, radiation was kind of soothing for me because, I wake up early, I get to lay on a table for 20 minutes. They have some music playing, and I just close my eyes, kind of think about stuff, think about life, and go home and get to relax. I did sleep a lot more during that time, but I was feeling pretty good after that treatment. And hmm, I then finished that, and I believe I got about a month of break. And then I started doing monthly cycles of chemotherapy. So the chemo I was taking is called Temodar or TMZ, and it has a really long name. The official name is like temozolomide or something, um, but everybody just calls it Temodar because that's the brand name. And so for 12 cycles, okay, let me explain it. The terminology is 5/23. So 5 days on the chemotherapy and then 23 days break away from the chemotherapy. So there's 28 days per cycle, which is effectively a month. And I was scheduled to take 12 months of chemotherapy. And this was a higher dose of chemotherapy. So before, when I took um, the chemotherapy during the 45 days straight, it was, I, I believe it was around 75 milligrams per day. But now, for the 5 days, each day I was taking 380 milligrams. So it was like two 100 milligram pills and one um, 180 milligram pill, and I still like sometimes shudder or shiver when I think about it, because in the beginning it was really easy. It was just like another pill, but later, after getting like my fourth cycle, my fifth cycle, my sixth cycle, I started dreading it, like dreading taking it, and kind of just thinking about, the shape of a pill, the color. Um, Even now, like I can kind of feel it, um, feel the stress levels rising within me, which is not great. But I'm done with treatment, and yesterday was my first MRI, post treatment. So about a month ago, I finished my last chemo cycle, so my last pill, and I actually recorded it, just to have that memory. Um, and that day was a day of relief for me because that felt like the definitive end of a long year. And as you might know, Hank Green, who is like an educational YouTuber, recently got diagnosed with cancer as well. Not brain cancer, but a different, very treatable cancer. But he is currently undergoing chemo treatment, and watching him, I just feel kind of like relatable to him. It's kind of strange because we're in two different, completely different situations. Like, I'm not like famous when he is. Like, he had a whole news, press tier list because about 7 to 10 channels, such as the New York Times and or like his local press, like they posted articles about him, and mine was like very low key, very just family, only kind of knew about it. And yeah, I got my MRI yesterday, and that was my first MRI since treatment ended. And I'm glad to say that the report came out today, and I am still in the clear. No new growth, no impressions. So no changes, which is good, considering my situation. I am meeting with the doctor tomorrow morning, but I just wanted to make this video today to commemorate the fact that I I feel a lot more relief, just because the past couple weeks have been very exciting for me, very um, like getting to travel, getting to see friends and family and meet strangers that build space. But this has been sitting in the back of my mind, and I was always wondering, like, what if what if I have to do more? Because I don't know. I didn't let my guard down, I guess. Even if there's nothing I can do about it, it's still kind of stressful to imagine the cancer coming back or growing, and I might have to go back onto chemo, which is devastating to think about. Um, but yeah, I can't let the what ifs weigh down on me, and I'm glad to say for now that life is good. And yeah, um, I also wanted to say, since I'm talking so much about having cancer in this video, I might as well say I didn't mention it in too much like in my YouTube videos and YouTube intros, and because um, I didn't want the cancer to define me, right? So when you think of me and my channel, and my videos and stuff like that, I want to have people think, hey, this guy's an engineer or like a problem solver or a video creator, or I guess you guys don't know, but or a Boy Scout or an Eagle Scout actually. But I didn't want to be that guy with cancer on your feed, right? I didn't want this to kind of be the reason that people watch my content or like garner sympathy. I appreciate any sympathy, any concerns, but I'm doing well. My health is really good, and I would appreciate if people just treated me normally. I guess kind of like acknowledge the fact that I have cancer, but also like not really like I don't know. Um, I'm actually not sure what to say. It just I didn't want the cancer to define me. I wanted to define the cancer. Just to have like that sort of control because you know yes, part of my life is now this cancer story, and it's not a great story like health wise, but it's also not like a really terrible story. I mean, it is terrible, but it's also like it gives me hope that I can recover from hard things. And really this kind of cancer mountain that I feel like I feel like I reached the peak of the mountain, and I can turn around and look at basically all the height that I've climbed, like all the flights of stairs. If you imagine every chemo pill to be a stair, every blood draw to be a stair. It's also funny because in terms of where I rank things, I think blood draws might be like second on the list, like right under chemo, because sometimes it's kind of hard to find my vein, so I have to get stabbed like 2 or 3 times or even 4 times before they can draw my blood, which kind of hurts. Yeah. So I was actually like, at the beginning of it, I was like, I wonder if I could like, use this opportunity to learn more about medicine and help other people with cancer. And then I thought about having to draw blood from someone, and I'm like, nope, I can never do that. It's just I appreciate the nurses that do it very well, and I appreciate the nurses that always say like sorry if they have to stick me more than once. But that's off topic. But I guess this is just going to be the video that I make about cancer, and I won't bring it up unless it comes up organically. Yeah, I I'm always welcome to chat or message me on Twitter if you have like any questions, or you want to talk about a relative who got cancer or someone with cancer, because even if it's not the same, it's similar. And I find that people who have gone through really traumatic events are the ones who are very resilient and who can understand the depths of life. Okay, I've been ranting too long. I'll see you guys next time.